All right, so I want to play a couple of clips here, but first, this is just a report. I want to keep some track of this. Obviously, now this is a nationwide thing. This is about policing. This is about racism. This is about class structure. This is about capitalism. This is about Corona. And the specific incident that set this that we need to remember was the murder of George Floyd that literally all of us have seen. I will say on that metric, the polls show that I think 96% of Americans across every metric, as in there's only 4%, God knows who the fuck they are. I mean, we know who they are, but thank God it's only 4, do not think that these officers 96% think these officers need to be charged to the fullest extent. Artesia, we're seeing your feet now. What happened? I'm sure many people.
So bad. Don't judge me. I'm so bad at this. I just like
no judgment. No judgment. I'm sure. Look, plenty of people are going to be impressed, particularly during Corona with the pedicure. So you know this. So
that's an, don't throw me out there like that. That's an old picture.
No. It's you stay fresh even in quarantine. So. Let me reset though, because this would be awkward if it got clipped to go on that diversion. So the base of the spark off, just like in Tunisia in 2011, there was a fruit seller who was smacked in the face by the police. They took away his ability to earn what meager living he had, and he self-emulated. I believe. I think that was the trajectory in Tunisia. And now as I'm saying it, I feel like I need to double check it. Anyways, there are always these clear precipitating events, the things that open up into wider things. And this precipitating event was the cold-blooded murder of George Floyd that we've all seen. And I want to play this clip from Al Jazeera, though, because I do want to keep tracking this. And this just basically, the family has done their own autopsy. And guess what? This autopsy confirms what everybody saw.
The autopsy shows that Mr. Floyd had no underlying medical problem that caused or contributed to his death.
That has demonstrators on the street questioning authority.
You know, I don't think he was going to have a heart attack that day and pass away without what happened to him on the streets here.
The dueling autopsies has eroded the already diminished faith that people here in the streets have in American institutions. First, many of the protesters, of course, lost faith in the police. Then they lost faith in the politicians who sent the police in to crack down on them. Now they're questioning the coroner's office.
Tell them we are what? Tell them we are what?
I don't trust them. I can't. How could you after this keeps happening? When they try to hide it, they try to cover it up.
That the institutions that we're supposed to trust, police officers, law enforcement, healthcare, just keep betraying us and letting us down.
So, as sick as that is, I mean, that is the growing reality check for a lot of people. Yeah,
right.
These institutions don't deserve trust, right?
I mean, you know, just a, you know, slight correction to what you said. You know, the feud that blew this up, yes, was sparked by the death of Mr. George Floyd, but we had a couple of these incidents on top of each other very rapidly. We had Breonna Taylor, a Black woman, killed in her home. We had run.
Can you talk about that real quick, Artesia? The woman in Kentucky. Can you talk about that, please?
The facts, I guess, you know, it was a raid, but a mistaken identity. They went into. I'm believing they went into the wrong house. I'm getting all these. It's so much to process at once. But she was killed in that raid, and her boyfriend fired a shot to defend them. Was then arrested and held on attempted murder of a police officer. Her story has gotten a little buried in all of this. So I definitely want to make sure that she's included in that conversation because it it was a simmer and then an explosion, but that happened right on, like, days before George Floyd. So everyone had been on edge. Everyone had been on edge in the last couple of days. Actually, last 2 months, we've 3 months now, we've all been on edge. So let's remember that conversation.
Thank you.
And
Go.
I'm sorry, I had to get that point, and I cut you off. Wait, back to this autopsy confirming what we all knew and actually did not matter. I mean, look, there isn't that much to add to it. I like the way they did that report because they just did this as this kind of like ongoing build of, actually, I think just a lot of trust that already isn't there, just getting pushed in everybody's face. And then maybe like the expanding the concentric circle of that lack of trust and then saying like, of course there isn't trust because let's look at what's happening. We got to play as well. Just a couple of examples. We won't do, we'll save the other clip. We'll save clip number 5 for next week, but I want to just do 3 and 4. And really there could be any of these. Look, there's a lot of things that are happening. As we were talking about before, if you've been out at these protests, the energy is overwhelmingly, actually extraordinarily human and positive and courageous and extraordinary. Now, and peaceful, you know, like gathered here in Bed-Stuy yesterday, and there was so much peace. There's so much peace. And of course we know the media spins and is only going to highlight looting and burning things down, which to that, I'm also just like, burn the shit down. I don't really care at this point. But there's so much peace. There's so much
That's
peace.
An opinion, not a directive for fucking people that watch it. Yeah.
Sorry, you got 100,000 fans. It's not a directive. But when I do say burn it down, I come back, I get into these conversations, and folks just want to get to work, not burning it down for real, literally, but figuratively. They want to roll up their sleeves and get to work. They're so inspired. It's something that's been building, though. You know, like the movement has been building, and more people are in it. More people are there.
Yeah, and uproot and dismantle. And absolutely.
You just watched a Michael Brooks show video. Subscribe to get them all. Why wouldn't you? Don't be foolish. Click subscribe below and become a patron as well. Patreon.com/TMBS. Thanks, everybody.